Hi guys, just jumping on to go over your music for this week. If you can hear, I've got some music in the background and I usually don't. This week we are starting to learn about a composer by the name of John Williams. And you might recognize this music behind me, you may not. John Williams has written lots of music for film and for TV. So I thought it might be interesting and neat to kind of take a listen and to learn a little bit about him. And we're going to kind of take some time over the next little bit to learn about him in a couple of different ways, but I thought this would be a really cool way to learn about him and to have music that you're kind of a little bit familiar with too. I turned it down a little bit. It was a little bit noisy. Okay, so your sheet this week is going to look like this. Okay, so we've got some bullet points here about John Williams and some info, and you're going to want to hang on to this because later on I'm going to come back to this in some other weeks and different work that we're going to be doing. But for this week, we are going to learn a little bit about him and then do a little small listening project, okay? So John Williams was born on February 8th, 1932. He is still alive, okay? He has written music for Close Encounters of the Third Kind, for E.T., Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Home Alone, Jaws, Jurassic Park, Lincoln, Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Patriots, Star Wars, Superman, and Warhorse. So this week, you are going to be listening to Duel of the Fates from Star Wars, okay? So that's what you kind of hear every once in a while in the background. Sometimes the dynamics are a little bit loud, so I turned it down so it wasn't too loud for us to be able to hear each other. He has 5 Oscars, 21 Grammy Awards, 4 Golden Globes, 5 Emmys, 7 BAFTAs. He has been part of the Olympic Order, and he has a National Medal of the Arts. So he performs and creates lots of different styles of music: concertos, fugues, sonatas, symphonies, fanfares, quartets, and soundtracks. Today we are listening to a soundtrack, okay? We're going to go over these other forms in different ways as we learn about John Williams, but for today we are listening to a soundtrack, okay? Some other famous pieces that he's written are The Mission, which is used for NBC Nightly News, Today Show and Meet the Press, Lost in Space, Olympic Fanfare and Theme, The Olympic Spirit, Summon the Heroes, and Call of the Champions. Okay, so that's just a little bit of info about him. This week, as we're listening, you are going to take a look at this sheet here, and then there's a bunch of different blocks that have some instructions for you. So the first one here, for this lightsaber, you are going to color it red if you hear brass instruments, which are like trumpets and trombones, and they're a little bit louder and you can hear what they sound like, okay? Blue, I do not hear brass instruments, okay? So remember, when you think about trumpets, I know you're gonna laugh at me and think this is kind of silly, but when you hear trumpets, you think, right? So when you hear those sounds, it's usually a horn instrument, which means that you would color it red, okay? Now, for your dynamics, if the dynamics stay the same the whole time, you're going to color it red. If they change throughout the song, you are going to color it blue. Now, I already kind of gave you a little bit of a hint about that. Remember how I had to turn down the volume, right? So if I turn down the volume, do you think that the dynamics got louder or softer? You're going to have to figure that one out. I know that you can, though. All right, so for our stars, yellow is if you hear singers. White is if you do not hear singers. That's something that you'll be able to pull out and figure out very easily, okay? Because when you hear someone's voice singing over the orchestra, it's very clear, okay? Now, for the planet, if you like this song, you are going to color it orange and yellow. If you didn't really like the song, you are going to color it blue and purple, okay? So again, we're building on some of those elements of music that we talked about. We're also using our amazing, awesome ears to be able to listen and to hear instruments that we have talked about. I didn't want to add a lot of different instruments because it can get a little complicated. But the brass instruments are very easy to hear and to recognize. Again, I'm going to make the sound for you. You're going to hear that. Not necessarily those particular notes, but that tone. And that's going to tell you that it'll be either a French horn or a trumpet or a trombone. And you don't have to tell me what instrument, you just have to tell me with color if you hear those type of instruments. The same thing with the voices, okay? It's the same thing as hearing a choir sing in when we do an assembly or something like that, okay? You'll be able to hear it alongside the instrumental music. If you have any questions, post a comment for me or send me an email and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care. Bye.